So I'm talking right now with Granddad from Fairbanks, Alaska. So they're doing pretty well, and I guess you guys could introduce yourselves and guest talk about why you decided to form a band like you did.
Sure. My name's Kellen, and I am the singer, and I play guitar in the band. And this is Matt, and he plays drums. And we're Granddad. We've been playing as Granddad since November of 2013. But me and Matt have been playing together in various bands since 2010. We originally met playing in a ska band called Eating for Two. And then we also later played in another ska band called The Naked Men. And this is the first time that we're not in a ska band together.
Also, this is the first band that we've started together. Kellen, I helped start both those bands, and then Kellen took over for the vocals in the first band and then guitar in the second band. And then we were like, hey, we work really well together. Let's do another band that's not ska with other people, with some people.
You're like, we're all Scott out now.
Yeah.
Time to mix it up a little bit. That's pretty cool, man. So, what is the music scene like in Alaska? Is there like a lot of different types of music?
So Fairbanks specifically, I've been playing in bands and doing shows for about 10 years now, since I was 13. And there was always a joke that you could only have one ska band in Fairbanks at a time. So there was a band, and then they broke up, and then this other band broke up, and then we became the only ska band. I've noticed the biggest thing that's different about Fairbanks than Anchorage, which the biggest city in Alaska, is that Fairbanks shows you can't just have like a metal show or a punk show. There's this psych folk, just this band we play a lot with called Harm, and so we're a punk emo band, and they're this beautiful, whimsical, acoustic band that we play with. And then, so the music scene is very sparse, but it's very dedicated, and not many people go, but the people that go love it, and they go for the music and not just to necessarily get wasted and do that, stuff.
Yeah. This very dedicated people to music up here. Just being that we're so far out of the way, it seems like people really have to go and make their own fun.
Yeah.
And kind of do everything. There's a very heavy do-it-yourself kind of attitude up here.
Yeah.
And also a lot of the musicians are very talented in multiple different genres. I actually have a degree in music education. So I've played classical music for a really long time. My main instrument was the tuba, and of course I don't do that in Granddad at all, but that's just another thing that I have under my belt.
Yeah, well, I mean, that musical knowledge though, it doesn't leave you, even though you're not playing the tuba or working with classical music. I don't know, it definitely helps with songwriting and all that to actually know how to, I don't know, read music or write real music.
Yeah, for sure. Music education is super important. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm so glad that I studied what I did. It's been super helpful for me.
Yeah, that sounds like a cool career, man. I feel like that would be something that I'd be more into. That's pretty interesting about how there can only be one band of each genre, but I guess the music scene isn't that large, but I feel like it's probably way more tight knit.
Yeah.
Here's a really good example, actually. Last year we went down to Anchorage to play in a Battle of the Bands for the Road to Warp tour thing, so we could get on a local stage. And the band that won that Battle of the Bands was this really hardcore metal group called Griffith. And we really liked them, and they really liked us, and we've stayed really tight since then. Yeah. So we're actually we cover one of their songs in our own style, which is really weird because we are definitely not a metal group.
Yeah.
And we're planning on putting out a split with them early next year. So that'll be interesting, and it's just another example of how small and tight knit we are up here, I guess.
Yeah, no, I understand. That sounds cool though. For me, I guess like because a friend of mine that lives in Chicago, we were just talking, and I had lived in New York, and he was saying like these big cities, like there's so many shows and there's so many bands, but there really isn't a music scene at all because there's no way you're gonna like run into the same people at shows. You know, it's like just they're too much, so you never like feel that community. Like even now when I'm in Jersey, like I can run into similar people at shows and like see similar bands, you know, and they all know each other at least. But I'm looking forward to that metal / emo punk split though. That would be pretty wild.
It'll be interesting. They're gonna cover one of our songs in like a metal style, so I'm pretty excited about that.
So you said you're going on tour, and you have a tour coming up soon. Are you looking forward to that? What's like a place that you're really looking forward to playing?
I think Little Rock is going to be the biggest party. We're having a friend who just moved up here last year. She's from Little Rock, and we've just heard so many stories about it, and the shows sound really great. And then the people that like I've met over the internet from her seem really great. And then she's going to fly down and meet us in Austin, and then drive with us to Little Rock. And I just think it's going to be a huge party. And
man, that sounds pretty great. It's always these like smaller towns, like not even towns, smaller cities that like I had some friends from like Athens, Ohio, or like Toledo, and they're like, the music scene is so good here, and I'm like, I don't know anyone that's ever gone there except for you, so I'm just trusting you like that. The scene there must be legit, you know. Yeah. So yeah, you have that tour coming up, and then your new EP is called Dumped. It's coming out on the 15th, so like now basically. It's streaming right now. So what was recording that like, and is it about getting dumped? I was wondering, you know.
That's kind of, I guess, a common theme through a lot of the songs. Some of the songs, well, I wrote all the songs, so all the lyrics come from me, and they're pretty much all about relationship issues, being it like me dealing with rejection, or me like me dumping someone else, basically. They're definitely not all about the same person, but it is kind of a common theme. Is like a breakup sort of album, and the funny thing is that ties it all together is the kid who's on the front cover of it. Matt found that photo at the dump, and it just we have no idea who that person is, and we really hope we don't get sued.
Yeah,
I think you'll be okay. Music about getting dumped, dumping other people. Album cover found at the dump. Perfect circle.
Yeah, we recorded the whole thing ourselves.
Nice. Yeah, right over here actually.
Yeah,
we have a little studio. Currently, we're in our bedroom.
Yeah, we share a bedroom,
and
then we have a room for where we play music.
It's a mess.
But yeah, so we recorded the whole thing by ourselves, and then had a friend of ours in this band called the Shiver Twins out of Seattle. Well, they're originally from Juneau too. And we're going to do a little bit of the tour with them, and their guitar player, Lance, mastered it and did a great job. And this is now Kellen and I's fourth record we've done together.
This is our second as Granddad. And it's our first band that we've been in that didn't break up immediately after recording an album.
Yeah. And then, so it's definitely the best thing I think I've ever like recorded and been a part of. Sonic or sound-wise, but definitely probably my favorite songs I've ever played on too.
That's great.
It was frustrating. It was stupid, but it was great. I'm glad it was just Kellen and I to do it too.
Yeah.
He gets really stressed and I don't, and I handle him really well when he's stressed.
Yeah. Well, you have to get along really well if you guys like sleep in the same room and record together. So it's like you have to be a nice like tight relationship there. That's good though. I mean, most bands like they aren't really not as close as that when they're not touring. So then when they do tour, it's like, oh boy, like hopefully we get along.
Yeah.
We're building bunk beds in our tour van.
Yeah.
And, like, I can't imagine anyone else I would rather spend 2 months with in the back of a van than this guy right here.
I mean, we've already been in the same room together for probably 3 months now.
Yeah, just add wheels to the bottom of that room, and
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the same. And you have a little studio, so you're just totally set. You just never leave.
Yeah.
So let's see. Another question I had, kind of about how you guys write music, but kind of also about Alaska, is that I've heard, I've never been there, sadly, but I've heard that like sometimes it's like dark for a really long period of time, and then like bright for a really long period of time. Do you feel like that like affects your songwriting at all? I feel like I don't know. I'm affected by the environment at all, so I would feel like when it was dark for so long, I would just be writing like the saddest, like dreary shit.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I mean, a lot of these songs are kind of born out of a struggle with depression anyway. I don't know too much about like seasonal depression, but that is a real thing that happens here. And basically the way that we kind of battle seasonal depression is just by like throwing the wildest parties in the middle of winter. Mm-hmm. And so that's when we usually play the most shows. During the summertime, people want to be outside and enjoying it while they can. So it's kind of slower in the summer here playing music. And in the winter, we really get going. But song-wise, I'd say that like I personally like to be holed up in my room year-round. So I'm pretty indifferent to the sunlight, I guess.
Actually, I think there's more shows in the summer. Or at least it feels like we played more this summer. Like given how long the summer's only 3 months, but winter shows are always way bigger and always way more fun because everyone's out of town constantly doing stuff, or they don't want to like be cramped inside a small bar. So, the environment and the weather definitely affect the music scene itself, but I don't really know if it's a big deal on our music.
Yeah, I mean, it would be hard for you to, I guess, compare to, like, I don't know, not living like that because you're so used to it by now, but...
Yeah, we're both born and raised in Alaska. Kellen's from Nome, which is on the coast of Alaska, the west coast of Alaska. We're about the same altitude, so we're, kind of the same environments. Latitude, sorry. What did I say? Altitude, yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's like kind of a uniquely Alaska thing. I'm sure it happens in like northern Canada as well, but like not too many people really living in northern Canada. It's more just Alaska, I feel like.
Yeah.
Another thing that I wanted to talk about is just how do you feel like the internet has really like helped you guys to reach out and like form all these relationships and like form these tours, because it seems like that's really been like a useful tool for you guys to branch out.
Yeah, for sure. I use Twitter constantly, probably a little bit too much for a healthy individual, but like it would not be possible for us to be able to book a tour outside of Alaska without the internet and without being able to email people or keep in touch with people that we know otherwise. And also to meet new people like you, Henderson.
Yeah, right? Like we're talking right now because of the future. It's the future now.
Yeah, it's really great. I feel like we have an opportunity now with the internet to actually do something and, actually be musicians. Whereas maybe 10 or 20 years ago, two kids in our position would never have been able to do as much as we could.
Yeah, like
most of the tours being booked on DoDIY.org or through people that we've met that have come up to Alaska that we've helped with. Them knowing people, and it's mostly been through that, which isn't possible without the World Wide Web.
Yeah, no, because like when I was gonna like talk to you guys, I was like, wait, like I'm definitely missing out on like some big Alaskan bands that I'm just like not savvy to, but there hasn't really been that many in the past, and now it's like it doesn't really matter where you're from,
Yeah,
true that.
Big Alaskan bands that I can think of, like Portugal the Man is from Palmer,
36
Alaska.
Crazy Fists.
36 Crazy Fists, them. I don't know about 36 Crazy Fists, but Portugal the Man, they moved to Portland. They moved to Portland, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, bands, if there's this idea that you need to move and get out to like do this, but kind of what I think we're more leaning towards is that to incorporate Alaska like in your brand as a band, but not in a tacky way. There's plenty of musicians who just sing shitty ass folk songs about like being from Alaska and all this stuff, and like we definitely market it like we always say we're from Alaska, but most bands move out of state and just become another band that's, you know, in Portland or Seattle, for example. Nothing against any of our buds who've done that, and you know, they're doing what they want, but
it is like kind of a cool thing. Like, I don't know, I'm from Jersey, like I said, and like Jersey bands love to like rep that they're from Jersey, and that's not even nearly as cool as being from Alaska. That's like such a unique kind of like asset, you know?
Those are the best front bottom songs though, are usually when he's singing about Jersey.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things about how small our music scene is that those guys played our campus bar, because our roommate is on our university concert board, and you know, I was like, "Hey, dude, check out this band," and then they ended up coming up here.
I told him to.
He told me about them, and I just got so obsessed, and they actually came and partied with us like after their show, and that was something that we had the opportunity to do because we're just so small, and like all, you know, I'm not gonna lie, we hang out with the coolest people, so
it was really cool.
It was
it was way too cool. It was unreal. Let's be real.
Yeah, that does sound so cool. Like, you know how many people in Jersey right now are like fainting, like they hear that and they're like, oh my God. But that's true, because like if you're a band and you come up to Alaska and you play a show, like, I don't know, you're gonna hang out with the people at the show. You're not just gonna like go wander out and like find some random place where you don't know anybody, you know. But I guess this is a good bridge to talk about what is some music that you guys are into personally.
Right now I'm really into like math emo kind of stuff. Like I Kill Giants. I just recently come to terms with the fact that I do believe that I could be whatever I wanted if I wanted by Snowing is the greatest album ever made. And then, I mean, I mostly am into all these super cool, like high energy, like emo punk bands. Like Dads is one of our favorite bands together, which is, we learned about them after we called our band Granddad.
Yeah.
And then had to talk about what it would be like after we became a two-piece with the name Granddad. Like me being a little worried that people would think we're ripping them off. But I think ska is still really big to me. All the bands coming out of Community Records are really great. Hikes from Austin, Texas is also
so good,
stupid good.
I think we tend to listen to a lot of music that like we could never play.
Yeah.
It's just like so far above our level that we just sit there and are just like, holy shit, how are these people so talented? Like for me, I'm gonna steal this conversation.
Go ahead, yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of like Pianos Become the Teeth is a really big band that's been on my record player just all summer. And I mean, other bands that you said, the Community Records crew, like Cattywampus is just so good.
Cattywampus is too good.
But I also listen to a lot of music that like we don't have any similarities with. I listen to a lot of dance music, I guess. I've been really like on this gym kick this summer, so I've been listening to high tempo like electronic music, and I don't know if that's influencing me in any way at all, but we got pretty diverse interests, I think.
Yeah, it sounds like it, man. I think a show with you two and Dads would just be perfect. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen them live, but like they have so much energy, man. They're wild.
Oh man, you have seen them live.
I saw them at a South by show last year with like 4 other people, and I was just too blown away.
Yeah, they're great, man.
John Bradley, that's his name, right?
Yeah,
John Bradley. He so like with drums. So when Granddad started, I was actually playing bass, drums being my main thing, but like never honestly being that good. And like but then when Kellen and I had to decide to go to the 2-piece, like I've gotten probably better at drums in the last 4 months than I have like in the last 8 years or so. But John Bradley, like listening to his licks and just being like, that's what I need to do. Like that guy is so heavy and so full, and it just rules.
Yeah, you hear them as like a 2-piece and you're like, there's no way, there's only 2 of them. But it's like, it's such a full sound. I think that would be we gotta hook it up. We gotta, like, somebody get in touch with Dads and play a show with you guys. Dads and Granddads. That would make for the best fucking show poster, you know?
I was actually just joking to Kellen yesterday. We're playing the Che Cafe in San Diego. And then I was looking up for YouTube videos to see the venue because it sounds really awesome. And Dad's actually played there twice. So I made a joke that we're basically sharing a stage with Dads. And we've like tweeted at them a bunch to like hang out with us and stuff like that. Like, yeah.
So what are some other things that you're into outside of music?
I mean, like I said, I've been running a lot. That's really fun. I just started playing some video games this summer now that I'm not in school anymore. I just bought this Nintendo DS.
Ooh.
It's right behind me, so I'm planning on playing some Pokemon while we're on tour.
I don't really know what I do besides music.
I mean, yeah, other than like our music and our work, most of the time we just spend like hanging out.
Like during school, it was school and music, and now school's over, and
now it's work and
music.
For me, while I was in school, it was music and music. Yeah, so that was really intense.
Learning about music and then just music.
Yeah.
But that's
I like frisbee. I like riding my bike.
I don't think we have any real heavy hobbies.
Hey man, those things are cool. The people want to know.
Yeah, I was really into. I mean, I'm still really into it. But once we decided to go on tour, I toned it down because I couldn't justify spending money on it. But I was really into comic books. I've got a huge collection. I'm trying to like get rid of before we go because I just don't like to have a lot of stuff. And we both read a lot.
Yeah, I'm a huge nerd. I like to read. This past spring, I took a course about computer programming just for fun. And I also like to learn how to play like MIDI instruments and like dick around with different DAWs and stuff, which is something that I guess I've been doing. So keeping a little bit of a musical activity, but as a hobby, like I'm definitely not doing anything with that electronic music or anything.
Hey man, that's still really cool. You're like, we have no hobbies, and then you just reel off like 30 hobbies. But nothing though.
I enjoy vegan cooking.
Yeah, you're a vegan?
I am. Kellen's.
Matt's a vegan.
Yeah.
Right.
I will eat vegan food when he makes it, or occasionally when I make it myself. I don't eat that much meat, I guess, but
yeah.
I don't know. Is that pretty unusual for like Alaska or no?
Oh yeah.
Alaska's the most unfriendly vegetarian especially too. Like
yeah.
I was vegetarian for like over a year and a half or so, and then I also was lactose intolerant, so the only thing I would eat would be eggs, or like the occasional fish. But then my girlfriend is vegan, and I kind of just was like, well, I'll do it too.
Also, she's like the best cook ever.
She's also the best cook ever.
But funny story, speaking of this place being so like vegan unfriendly, like last month we went to a restaurant and Matt ordered a veggie burger. And they came back and told us that the veggie burger had cheese like inside the burger itself.
Yeah.
And we were both just like, what the fuck? Like, why would you put cheese inside a veggie burger?
They're like, we want to give the illusion that we are okay with you being a vegetarian, but not really at all.
Really, yeah. I think that's like one of the things I think about a lot about going on tours.
To go to vegan restaurants?
To go to vegan, like all the cool vegan restaurants are going to go.
I'm not even vegan.
Yeah.
Since you guys said you both read, what are some books that you were really into recently?
I just finished, what's it? I think it's called Colorless Tsukuru Tazaki by Haruki Murakami. I'm trying to remember if I'm saying this like correctly. I'm getting it out on my iPad. Wow, look at that.
Oh, the future.
Fancy. Yeah, Colorless Tsukuru Tazaki and His Years of Pilgrimage. It was so good. And the ending, I have no idea what happened. And like no one I knew had read this book, so I'm just like sitting over here with my feelings trying to figure it out. So if anyone out there on the internet who watches this video can tell me about this book, that'd be great.
It was so good, but you can't figure out the ending.
Yeah, I mean, it just I don't want to spoil it for anyone,
Right.
but it like just ended on such a cliffhanger.
I'm actually reading. I don't read a lot of fiction, but I'm actually reading one of what I don't know how to say his name.
Haruki Murakami.
Yeah, I'm reading the Wind Up Bird Chronicle by him. My girlfriend had suggested it, but my favorite book I've read in the last few months would be it's just called Nietzsche, Antichrist, psychologist and philosopher, and it's Walter Kaufmann who was the expert on Nietzsche, and like Nietzsche being the German philosopher who the Nazis like appropriated and used his ideas for themselves, and Kaufmann was the guy that like translated all his work and was like, "Whoa, guys, no, this dude is not a Nazi." And no, nothing. Well, he died before the Nazis took over or even became a thing. But nothing he ever thought could ever be applied to Nazism. And this book is just like a breakdown of Nietzsche's like history of his thought and stuff. And I'm really into. I have a part of my degree is in philosophy, so it's in anthropology. So it's the stuff I like to read. And
we're both really into Marxism too.
Yeah.
I have this book on my bed called Why Marx Was Right, and this other one called What is Anarchism? By Alexander Berkman.
Which Berkman and his Berkman's a big hero of mine, and his wife Emma Goldman, who's also like Emma Goldman was actually way more revolutionary than Berkman. She got kicked out of the United States fighting for women's suffrage, and was like in Russia still fighting for women's rights in the world. And
I mean, I think all of this sort of thing actually kind of ties back into our band because our logo is a picture of Karl Marx wearing stunner shades in
Kanye
space.
West's stunner shades, to be exact.
So it all comes together, but
and also like I mean they're not kind of like we're both feminists. We're both very political. Like we both take political stuff very seriously. And I think that also like that's kind of pushing us in regards to like what venues and DIY spots we're looking at. Like
we're playing in a really cool like anarchist pub in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
In October that I'm looking forward to.
And just like we've reached out to a lot of like LGBTQ collectives for gigs and stuff, and you know we're really into like the safe space for people idea, which there's nothing like that up here. I mean, all of our friends are very good about like being into the same stuff that we are and take this stuff seriously, but the rest of Fairbanks and Alaska not particularly.
So what can we expect in the future for Granddad? We got this tour coming up and the EP coming out, and then you got that split coming out with that metal band. But is there anything else we should know about and look forward to?
Things are pretty up in the air as to what we're doing. When we get back from tour, I'm planning on probably just locking myself in a room somewhere again and writing music for a little while. So hopefully I would like to record stuff early next year and have another EP out probably in the spring. By the way, Matt, I haven't told him this yet, but that's what I'm thinking. And then I think we're going to go on another about month-long tour in March, heading down, hitting up South by Southwest, and probably going toward like the West Coast or Midwest, depending on whatever we liked the best during this tour we're about to go on.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome, man. Well, hopefully I'll get to catch you guys live and meet you guys sometime, but we'll see how it goes, man. Everything's up in the air for me, too. That's what music's all about. No money and no security, so let's rock.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can both live off very little, so.
Yeah. All right, well, it was great talking to you guys, so I'll let you enjoy the rest of your night.
Hey, you too, Henderson. Thanks so much for doing this interview.
No problem, man.